You were tuned in to G5 Jeff TV. Hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the share button as you come on in. Y'all not doing nothing. Sit your ass down. Come get some of this good boxing talk. As you can see, we got the VP with me, VP Shane. What's going on, Shane?
Everything's all good, man. Excited. I'm excited.
Yes. And we come bearing gifts. We come bearing gifts. We got the middleweight contender, Tureano Johnson, is here with us today. What's going on, good brother?
Hey, I'm just blessed. Thank God for the opportunity. Hey, I'm hyped, excited to be
Yes.
on the show with you guys. You know, Jeff and Shane. This is the first time I'm on the show with you guys. And hey, one is in London, the other's in Philly, and hey, I'm in the Bahamas. This is truly going international, man.
Absolutely. Going international for sure, man. I'm before we get started, man, I gotta let the people know, man. Like I'm so happy to see you. I'm happy to see that you okay, because the last time I seen you was actually in the ring against Jaime Munguia, and I think I hit you up in like January. I'm like, Tureano, I'm like, yo, you good? Your family good? Like everything straight. So when you hit me back, man, it was a beautiful thing. You know what I'm saying? But how has things been since the fight? And what have you been up to since the fight?
Well, Jeff, first of all, I gotta give credit out to you, man. Hitting a brother up like that, want to find out how's everything going with me and my family. You're not even trying to, endorse or promote any items or any such. You just was concerned generally uh, about my well-being and my family position, and I really appreciate that. Well, you know, after the fight, we did retake. Did a little retake on the fight, and it was something that was very much disappointing. But you know what? I can't complain. I got injured during the fight.
Mhm.
Literally disfigured. Disfigured.
Yeah.
I was smiling. You could see my teeth even while my mouth was closed.
Yeah,
Isn't
wow.
that something? It was
Wow.
unbelievable. But it was a beautiful fight. Hats off to Jamie Munguia. He went in there. He gave. I definitely gave a valiant effort. But Jamie Munguia, he came out and he pulled off the victory. No excuse, man. The kid is a good fighter. I was caught with a good punch. To tell you the truth, any punch would have done that damage. At the state that I wouldn't even go there. But no, I'm good now. I'm healed up pretty good.
Okay.
I'm back to my pretty self once again. Yeah, my life is kissing me again now.
Yeah.
It's been a while. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah,
Hey.
I'm back home. I'm back home here in the Bahamas now. Was back over there. Even after the fight, we did went through some training regiments. Just to make sure that we knew where we fell down and what we were doing, coming in with the head and all of that. That's gonna be out of the window from now on. Tureano isn't gonna be like that anymore. But for sure, I'm a new fighter and a new person. Focus on my Big Brothers Outreach Ministry
Okay.
back home in the Bahamas. That's something that is dear to my heart and
Mhm.
my nation at large, the Bahamas. That I fight for my family, and I fight to provide for my family. I fight to make my country proud. But ultimately, I fight because this is what God has blessed me to do, man.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it's great to know that you are okay and you're getting into a lot of other things um outside of boxing. Um I know you were telling me before that you were actually doing some announcing. Can you give the people some information on that?
Well, like it always with me, Toriano, you give me the mic, I ain't gonna give it back. I'm waiting there. I can't sing, but I can talk to you all day long. I can talk all day long. Yeah. So right now, I'm doing commentating. With my coach Andre was there. He was the one who put it together for me. He said, "Toriano, you have a talent, you have a knack, to really get folks them intrigued and interested in a conversation, especially a dialogue with boxing." And he showed that to me, and hey, I said, let me give it a hit. And come May, the end of May, we'll be doing our third show. It'll be my third commentating gig, and I'm excited. I'm excited. I'm excited. But nothing makes me even more happier than to get into the square circle and squaring off with one of the opponents. Whether I'm getting it or they're getting it. better chances that they're the ones who are going to be getting
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. But let's get into the Jaime Munguia fight. Like we were rooting for you hard. Like we were really rooting for you hard. And what was the game plan going into the fight? Because watching the fight, and tell me if I'm wrong, but it looked like you wanted to make sure you won the battle with the footwork. And before you started punching, you wanted to make sure you were almost leaning on his left shoulder, like punching at an angle where you can get your shots off and where Jaime Munguia really had to reach to get his off. What was your game plan going into the fight?
Indeed, like you said, and very good analogy, Munguia, he fights with range. He fights with range. So what we want to do is use my best tactics that I do very well, and that's go in there and smother my opponent. And by smothering him, we added, angles to it. Adding angles and adding a little bit more strength. And but this time adding even more pressure because Munguia is young and he is strong. Probably at this stage in his life, he's a young lion. And so we wanted to put the pressure out there. We wanted to come hard. We wanted to get him at the point where, we start off hard and fast early. That way he's going to say, wow, man, I'm going to get confused. I've never met an opponent of this caliber before. And that right there would have taken him out of his own game plan by frustrating him a whole lot. And the main thing is with Tureano, like a crocodile and an alligator would do, they would take their prey. They would not devour them right there on the spot. They would take them and drown them out into the sea.
Mm-hmm. Take them into deep water.
To take Jaime into deep waters, drown him, and then I would have my field day with him in the latter rounds. I'm not a one-punch knockout artist, right? Like a Triple G. But I am one, who can stand the test of time. I have great endurance. I have a great chin. It didn't play off well for me that day because in all that you have to add the factors that your skin can also get cut, and that's what took place. That changed our game plan. In fact, that changed the whole fight in favor for Munguia.
Yeah, it was unfortunate to see that, and you rarely see an injury like that. Like I know watching it on TV, it was almost like unreal. Like, and I know you being in there, I know you were like, what just happened? Let me ask you this really quick, and then Shane, I'm gonna let you go. Going into the fight, I know you started the fight off extremely fast. When you in a fight like that against a young guy, the hot prospect, the champion, obviously he's the more popular fighter. Did you feel like you had to do a little bit extra offensively early because you had the judges in mind? Give us a little bit of insight on that going into a fight like that, because I know judges are a big issue on this channel. We get on them every chance we get. So as a fighter, how did you approach? Did they have any effect on how you approached the fight?
Hey, listen, you're 100% right. 100% right. It's always the case when a fighter goes into a fight, he always has to consider the background and the playing field that he's fighting in or playing in. And I'm fighting. Yeah, both of us we're golden boys, but remember the fact that he is the champion and he is the favorite. He's the younger one. Folks are looking for great and bigger things out of him. And so, we said, you know what, Tureano, it's been the case with me even as an amateur. You're not regularly fighting at home. You're fighting in somebody else's backyard. I was in Jaime Munguia's backyard, and as usual, I said, boy, your best bet, don't let this go to the scorecard. And if
Absolutely.
It does, make sure every single round is beyond convincing. So you have to win every round hard and good, clean. With no, maybe I'll go this way, maybe I'll go that way. We needed to be definite that, Tureano won that round. And that's how it's been throughout my whole career and my whole life. You go into something, you gotta go and get it done clean and clear. And we came out there, we came out of the blocks real fast and real hard. And guess what? we were going to maintain that pace and pick it up just a little bit as the round goes on.
Yeah, go ahead, Shane.
Yeah, Jeff had a muzzle on me for a while, so I was just waiting for Jeff to get his questions up. But Tureano, I want to ask you a big question. But before I do that, I want to say that your lip definitely healed very well. So it looked like it's healed very good. And I want to say this before I ask the question as well. Before the fight, I was one of the people who actually, as much as Jeff's a massive fan, I keep it real. I thought Munguia was going to beat you, and I thought he was going to beat you pretty comfortably. And you made a believer out of me, so I have to tip my hat off. I'll never fake it. I'll tell you the truth. Before the fight, I thought he was going to win.
I got you, but we can fight about that later. But you go ahead.
No, but this my point was you actually proved me wrong, because how I thought you was going to fight and how I thought you was going to do, you ended up doing 10 times better than I thought you would. And I'll keep it real. I actually had the scorecard extremely close going into before the stoppage. So to me, I want to give you credit for that. That's not even just because you're on the show. I actually want to give you credit for that. Just for turning me into a believer, I guess. But with that being said, I feel like you said you started the fight and you wanted to fight at a tempo and maintain that tempo. To me, did you ever feel like Munguia was wearing down in the fight, or was it a case of you're gonna actually have to step up the levels before you actually start getting the success? Do you feel like he was wearing down?
Good observation, man. Good observation. Now, you can watch the fight yourself too. That you can pretty much answer that yourself. But indeed, I felt that Munguia was giving in. I could hear his heartbeat. I remember there were several moments when I was southpaw and I would send the left uppercut to the sternum, and I could hear him, ooh, and he was letting it out. And I would go after it again, and he would go into a panic and cover and leave his head open and just cover that section of his midsection. Yes, he was definitely wearing down. He was definitely breaking down, and I can sense the frustration that he was going through. It was as if, he was fighting a wrecking ball. You can shoot it, you can blast it, but you're not going to be able to back it up.
How much gas did you have left in the tank?
Pardon?
How much gas, at the point of the stoppage, how much gas would you say you had left in the tank?
I haven't begun. I did not begin. If you know Tureano, you know my style of boxing, and then you should also know how my endurance work. You watched the Jason Quigley fight. I started off high in the first round.
Right.
Many people said, wow, I started to escalate and escalate. That's the truth, because, some fighters, they have great power, some have great speed, and then you have those like us. We have great endurance. And I'm always confident with my conditioning, not with the strength, not with the speed, but with the endurance. I love to go, and I love to go, and I love to build and escalate and escalate and escalate. And I felt as though I have not even begun to really get into the fight.
Wow.
If you want to know my most depressing part of that entire fight, it is that very same moment that the fight was stopped, when I'm just getting into the fight.
Right.
I mean, personally, I thought you done fantastic, and for me to say that you are, it's definitely plausible. But what I saw more was the fact that you were actually able to take Munguia into a place that he's never been before. Munguia is naturally aggressive, and you literally just stifled all of his aggression, and you literally came back at him. But what I would say is you kind of done yourself a massive disservice, because people don't want to fight you anymore. Because when they see what you just done to Munguia, they're going to be thinking, this guy's too hard for me to fight.
Well, we're going to start pushing it out there. Yeah, you're right. You're right. They got some clowny fellas out there, they say, be the champion, but you only want to fight the tough fighters out there. Hey, hats off to Charlo. He fought Sergey Devenchenko. He did a good job.
Yeah.
To me, that's pretty much the best middleweight fighter that he has fought.
Yeah.
Fight Tureano now. Yeah, I know. Sergey, when I fought Sergey beat me up. No joke. Sergey beat me up from left, right, and center.
Sergey, good fighter. Sergey, real good fighter.
Sergey beat me, and beat. Hey, Gotta give him the credit, man. The kid, one name was Sergey. We both trained with Andre Roselle. I wish I had trained with Andre Roselle to fight Sergey.
Right.
Because that would have been but yeah. But Sergey is a disciplined boy, a disciplined fighter, and you got to give him credit for that. But I would do a much better job with Charlo than Sergey did, no doubt. You know, just because you beat me, that doesn't mean the other fighter can beat me. You know,
yeah.
It looks like that in boxing.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I would like to fight Charlo. And so I would love to fight a Charlo. I'd like to fight a Daniel Jacob. I'd love to fight, you know, any middleweight and super middleweight out there. If you're in the top 10, man, hey, you're one of the best. Let's fight, man.
Right.
I mean,
let me get these. Hold on, Shane. Let me get these comments real quick. DT3 the boom, man. Say what's going on. DT3, what's going on, family? Chris G, he said, I'm happy to see him okay. I'm wondering, is Tureano going to get another fight? I'd 100% watch him again. I had him ahead in the Munguia fight. Chris G, you definitely gonna see him in the ring again. We're gonna get to that in just a second. Tureano, you know this guy, BoxingFirst Vlog. He said, what's up, fellas? Salute Tureano Johnson. And my bro King Louie is in the building. He says, salute family, y'all killing it with the interviews. King Louie, we appreciate you. Shane, I just got one question and I'm gonna let you go again, bro. Tureano, you know the thing that's funny is going into the fight, I don't think enough people knew what you were bringing to the table. So when there's a like Shane, you know, Shane thought that Jaime was going to win the fight. A lot of people felt like Jaime was going to win the fight because he's the one that's blasted in front of the TV screens and on YouTube and things like that.
It wasn't even that.
Go ahead.
I'll tell you what it was when I watched the Tureano Johnson fight and I watched the Munguia fight. And again, I just underestimated how durable Tureano was. I just thought he's gonna come forward like he normally does with aggression and engine. But to me, I was just thinking, is his power gonna get Munguia's respect, and is he gonna be able to take Munguia's power? And me personally, before the fight, I said no. But after watching the fight, I was incorrect because you were able to take his power and you were able to get his respect. So I just feel like people just had a misapprehension because I'll keep it real. You're on the way to probably pulling off the best performance of your career. Because to me, that fight goes another 5 rounds. I don't think Munguia would have won it anymore. I'll keep it real. I don't think he would have won it anymore.
No, he wasn't gonna win. I don't care.
Shane, that's a great point. Shane, that's a great point, and I'm glad you said that because that was the one question that people had. Can Tureano put something on Jaime Munguia to get his attention, to get him to back up? And I knew you had it in the middle of the first round. You hit him with a gut shot, right? And I laughed because I just watched the fight again this morning. You hit him with a gut shot in the first round. He completely buckled down. Like he literally went all the way down. Yeah, he went just like this. Exactly. He went just like that in the first round. And that's when I knew. I said, okay, I'm like, Tureano has enough steam on his shots to get his attention. So I'm like, now it's up to Jaime Munguia to make adjustments to actually get the win. The one thing that you accomplished, Tureano, even though you didn't come out on top, you made Jaime Munguia be effective in a way that he's never been effective before. You made him take half steps back, full steps back. He never threw that many uppercuts before in his life.
That's right.
And you made him counterpunch. So when you facing a guy that aggressive, going into the fight, was that the game plan? Like you wanted for him to have to tap into another part of his game in order for him to beat you?
And definitely that's what you do when you're in a fight. You know, you're trying to break your opponent out of his best suited, you know, tactics. And that was our game plan, to get him frustrated. Because if you watch his fight, as we have watched his fight, you know, he is one who's easily frustrated. He's easily frustrated. You know, I watch him when he fought what the Irish guy named?
Smith.
When he fought Smith?
No, not Smith. The other guy. The Irish guy.
Say it again, Shane.
I'm trying to think of who he's talking about.
Well, he fought an Irish guy, and then he fought the Japanese, and both of them were very awkward for him. And you watch his frustration. He pretty much cried in the ring, you know, looking for the referee's assistance throughout the fight. Right. Yeah, that's a young tactic that they use, you know, not a mature one. And you can tell he's still growing. So I wanted to push him into a position where, you know, he's not familiar with this kind of treatment.
You talking about Dennis Hogan?
Dennis Hogan.
Dennis Hogan.
Yeah.
Dennis Hogan.
He was very frustrated fighting Dennis Hogan. He was just very frustrated fighting the Japanese opponent. He gets frustrated quite easily. Even the young kid from Uganda, the very small lightweight who he had stopped, but the kid was winning the fight also. The moving guy. Yeah, so he gets frustrated quite easily. And we wanted to use that to our advantage.
How does a rematch go? Because to me, when a fight ends like that, it wasn't conclusive and you were up on the cards. Really and truly, I feel like you deserve a rematch. How does a rematch go between you and Munguia?
Tonight, I've been reaching out to my lawyers and my promoters. Everybody tell me Munguia ain't stupid.
Yeah, he's not stupid.
That boy ain't stupid. He ain't gonna, and so I'm not going to even try to pursue something that is more or less impossible to take place. If anything you can say is impossible, it is that right there. A fight with Tureano Munguia again. That kid is not going to fight me. I will sign the papers today, right now, if they say fight me, and the money isn't a matter. I need that. I would want that win. Not say need it now. I would want that win.
Right. Yeah.
If he doesn't fight you, and there's certain fights, where you always have an asterisk next to your win, where it's like you won, but you didn't really win convincingly. And I guess if Munguia doesn't fight you, the hardcore fans will always hold that Tureano Johnson performance against him, because to me, he was down in the cards and he only won down to a cut, really.
Yeah, it was an injury. So yeah, that was well said, man. That was well said. Let me get in the comments real quick. King Louis said, "Is that the guy that got robbed in Mexico?" I'll get to that in a second. BoxingFirst Vlog, I got a question. Did Jaime Munguia have a rematch clause? No, he was the champion, bro. No. Oh, did Jaime Munguia have a rematch clause, Tureano? If he'd have lost,
they didn't have a rematch clause inside.
Ooh, it was a one-off.
So if you won that fight, there was no rematch clause.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow. BoxingFirst Vlog, that was a great question. Wow. Yeah. Do you find that kind of disrespectful?
No, not really. You know, when I fought Jason Quigley, you know, I wouldn't say you guys, but most of the media and so on had Jason Quigley to win the fight. You know, everybody had me out. You know,
hey,
none.
Hold on. Hey, Tureano, listen. Around these parts, we knew you was gonna whip Quigley's ass. Around these parts. Go ahead, Shane.
But truth is, you know, the reason why those folks found that Quigley would win the fight would be a justifiable one. The same for Munguia, yes, it's justifiable. You know, Tureano has been inactive for quite a while. For a time, Tureano, you know, he hasn't been getting into the opposition that he needs to get into. You know, you want to fight the big names and the Charlos. Why am I only calling Charlo? But I only really want to fight Charlo. But other fighters that want to fight, but I want to get hands on Charlo. But you know, you can't count me out. But that's my life. I've always lived to prove the doubt is wrong. But everybody had the right to count me out. And Munguia's team did the same thing. They said, "We're gonna whoop this kid. We don't need to put a rematch clause in there." And
that's why I asked that. That's why I asked that question, because I'm like, I know it just makes it kind of goes on the side of arrogance on their part, because even if they felt that way about you, it's in their best interest to put a rematch clause in there because you don't know what's going to happen when you step in those ropes. So it's
But
just,
you know what, Jeff?
yeah.
You know what,
But
Jeff? I'll tell you the truth. Some people don't like putting rematch clause in fights, and I think that fight was at 160, wasn't it?
yeah, it was 160.
Remember, you gotta remember that Jaime Munguia was champion at 154. So remember, his belt was at 154. It wasn't at 160. So he probably didn't put a rematch clause in that just because of the fact that it wasn't for his. It was his strap.
Hey, that could have been the case, or at the same time, it could have been one where they just was negligent and careless and overlooked that. You know, whatever.
That's what I think. That's what
whatever.
I was gonna ask you this though, Tureano. You spoke about Charlo. I have to speak about the Golovkin and you versus Golovkin because is there a chance that you can get redemption for your stablemate, Derevianchenko?
I like Triple G, man. I like him as a friend. I like him as an ambassador for boxing. Oh my God. You put me in the ring with Triple G, man, that's just gonna mess everything up.
That's gonna mess it. We ain't got. Hey, listen, Tureano, you ain't got to jump in there with a Triple G, but Charlo is what you want, right?
No, bro. Everyone,
you know, listen, the dollars ain't reminded me. I almost fight Charlo for free. Well, for boxing in for free, I fight for money, but man, I would have a good day with Charlo. If I wanted to have a like folks, I would say, oh, that kid is coming to the gym spot. Oh, this is a good day for me today. Well, that's how I feel. You know,
how does the fight between you and Charlo go?
It'd be a great matchup for the fans.
How would the fight between you and Charlo go?
Yeah, that would be an awesome, decent fight, man. It would be action. Hey, Charlo got power now. Charlo got power. He hurt Sergey. You know, Sergey isn't somebody who you can just give him one punch. Sergey is tough. He's tough. And Charlo has a good record of knocking out everybody. Yeah, I want to feel that.
I got another name for you. You versus Andrade, Demetrius Andrade. How does that fight go? You versus Demetrius Andrade.
To me, Andrade's name is Boo Boo for a reason. He is the boogeyman. No joke. He is the boogeyman. Yeah, all these guys, them talking, even Charlo and Billy Joe, those guys don't want nothing to do with the boogeyman. But I tell you, I'd give Andrade a hell of a day. I'd give him a hell of a day. I think that'd be an awesome fight, you know, but at the same time, you know, he's still a boogeyman. But I really would, if the fight comes to me, definitely Tureano taking it, I'm going to be ready.
Okay.
Let
me get in these comments real quick. BoxingFirst Vlog, I think that was about early. So he was talking about Spike. Yeah, Jaime Munguia was girling with Spike too. He was complaining with the referee with Spike O'Sullivan too.
Right, yes, yeah.
Yeah. L Dub Boxing, what's going on? What you play? Say what's good. BoxingFirst Vlog said it got another question for TJ. Would you take another hard fight like Munguia or a cupcake? Tureano not coming up no cupcakes.
I'm not a baker, bro. I'm not a baker. I'm not a baker. I'm the axe man. You got to check down trees, man. I'm the axe man. So no cupcakes here, man.
No cupcakes.
There's names out there for a reason. These guys call the big name because they want that dollar. They want, you know, that maybe I would get an Anthony Joshua and a Ruiz kind of opportunity, you know. Nah, me, I'm coming in there to, you know, I'm coming to take heads. That's what I'm coming to take heads. I'm coming to win. And every single time you watch my fight, I come ready to fight every single time.
And that's what we
part with me.
Yeah, and that's what we love to hear. That's what we love to hear.
Next out? When you looking to get out next?
Well, right now, been talking with my team. No more crying for the Munguia fight, so I'm over that now. Lord, if it comes, please know that I will sign it right away. If it comes, if the Charlo fight comes, I'll take it. But hopefully we can get something in within the next 2 months. We're looking forward to that. Maybe between May and June. Yeah,
May and June. You know what fight I would like for you to take, and I think is an easy W too. Chris Eubank Jr.
Oh, snap. You could say that in front of your boy Shane now.
Absolutely. I say, me and Shane argue all the time.
Jeff
I would
explained.
love that fight. That fight, I believe that fight is great for the making, especially at the position where I'm at now. I think it would make a good fight. It would make a great fight. I think he's set to fight somebody right now.
Yeah, he's fighting on the Chisora Parker undercard.
Yeah, what's that? May 1? That's May 1, right? Who's he fighting?
I can't even. He's not fighting anybody of any. No, he's not fighting.
He's not fighting no Tureano Johnsons. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah. Both he and Charlo got beat from what the Russian guy name?
Korobov.
To me, Korobov beat the both of them. Yeah.
Korobov got injured though.
Yeah, he got injured by Ivan, but he did put a whooping on Charlo, hands down.
Yeah, he was putting in some work.
Both Charlos lost that night. Both of them lost that night. But Korobov, he did get injured during Ivan's fight, but he was winning that. He was winning that rather easy though.
Hey, Tureano, the reason I said Chris Eubank is because I got a feeling they're gonna tell Tureano Johnson to go get Charlo's attention. I feel like if you go beat Chris Eubank Jr., who's been connected to Charlo's name, that'll definitely get Charlo's attention.
The reason why that fight won't happen, and I'll tell you, again, the reason why that fight doesn't happen is because Eubank sees himself as, if he's taking a big step up fight, it's got to be worth it. And to me, Tureano Johnson's risk doesn't match the reward. And
I'll debate you on that.
You just gotta put water on the fire, Jed. You just gotta put water on the fire.
I'll debate you on that, Shane.
No,
I'll debate
second,
you on
second,
that. Go ahead.
I'm not a big Jeff will tell you, I'm not a big Eubank fan. I don't like any British fighter that highly, so I'm not a big Eubank fan. But the reason why I'm saying that is because if you look at the trajectory of his career, he's only taken calculated risks. And to me, I just feel like he's going to look at Tureano Johnson and say the fight's too hard for me to take, and he can take another fight which he's going to make more money and less risk. That's what I think.
Shane, I'll tell you, but I can tell you one way, and I'm not saying you don't have a point. What I will say is this: if they tell Eubank you got to go through Tureano Johnson to go get Charlo, or Eubank Tureano Johnson, the winner gets Charlo, that fight's happening. And another thing with Charlo don't have that many opponents.
But you forgot, bro, that Eubank is not signed with Al Heyman anymore. He's signed with Sauerland.
Well, how could we forget? That's right. He's right.
Bro, if anything, they're gonna see him fight Andrade than anything, because they're both now under that the zone banner.
Yeah, and he's gonna move up and down in the weight division just to avoid. To me,
there's more chance in fighting Andrade than anything. But saying that, you still have your affiliation with the zone. Tureano.
Are you still with the zone?
I'm with Golden Boys, so.
That fight can happen, in fact, because
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That fight can happen. It can happen
because both of those guys are with the zone. That fight, it could happen.
Whether Charlo's the target or Andrade's the target, because of the connection with the networks, that fight can happen. That fight can definitely happen. In the middleweight division, kind of cold right now. The middleweight division kind of cold right now. We need some action. We need some action.
And that would be an awesome fight right there. Eubanks and Tureano is a fight. And that fight, hey, Eubanks, let's say Eubanks is the better man in that fight. Hey, that would propel him high. I mean, like really, really high, He would be up there say, yeah, he can definitely go head to head with a Charlo. I doubt it really. But
he hasn't earned. That was the thing, like Charlo, and I understand the Sauerland thing and all that, but I'm like, if they said Charlo and Eubank right now, like that fight's ice cold because Eubank's name is ice cold. If you say Charlo Tureano Johnson, people are gonna be like, you know what? I did have Tureano up before the injury. Okay, that's an all right fight. Let's do it.
You're looking at it from a fan perspective, though. I want you to look at it from a Eubank perspective. Eubank's not a fool. He's gonna know that the fight's a hard fight. He's gonna know that the fight's a hard fight.
No, I know that. I know that. I know he knows anybody that steps in the ring with Tureano Johnson, he knows it's going to be a hard fight. The thing is, if you tell Eubank, whether it's Sauerland, Al Heyman, whoever, if you tell him he has to go through a Tureano Johnson to get a Charlo or to get an Andrade, that's the only way he'll actually take the fight. But it could happen because 160 again is ice cold. It's ice cold.
But then again, who said Ebanks want to fight a Charlo or even an Andretti? Neither of those guys want to fight Andretti. So get it right. Neither of them want to fight Andretti.
No, they don't.
And you know, Charlo would not mind fighting an Ebanks, but Ebanks ain't 100% sure he want to fight a Charlo. Tureano is 100% he would fight all of them. Tureano is 100% sure he would fight all of them.
No, that's a fact.
Like a big fan of Andrade. Who wins between Andrade and Liam Smith?
You said Liam Smith, Liam Williams.
I got Andretti 100%. Liam's a hot kid out there, but I got Andretti 100%. No, I don't think it's a difficult fight for Andretti neither. It's not a difficult fight. Not at all. Liam Smith fought Liam Williams before. To me, I felt as though, you know, Liam Williams won those fights, but they were extremely close. But if Liam Smith decided to fight Andrade, Smith I'm talking about, not William.
Right.
Now, he doesn't survive in the middleweight division. William neither.
Yeah, Battle Rifle, he said, ask Tureano how hard did Jaime hit?
Jaime didn't hit hard as a he didn't hit hard as a Curtis Stevens or
Wow.
He definitely didn't hit harder than what's that Puerto Rican kid name now? Dang, my sparring partners. I don't even try to get to know folks like that, but his punches wasn't.
Wow.
His punches wasn't that much. In fact, I can tell you one of the issues is my bad habits is that I was walking into punches because I felt as though it wasn't doing much damage, but that was internal. Externally, it was doing damage.
It was doing damage.
It had done damage externally, but no, the punches at no moment in that fight, as you can see throughout the whole fight, I wasn't fatigued. I wasn't disoriented. He caught me some clean punches, some clear punches. I felt as though the moment that I got cut, it wasn't the uppercut. I could feel a sting, you know, in my face, a sting, not a blunt force, you know, like when Curtis Stevens or one of them. No, I felt a sting with a straight right from Munguia. That's what I figured caused the cut. But a lot of folks, as I watched it, it still looked like the uppercut, but I don't recall it being an uppercut. You know, I was taking them uppercuts and I wasn't even checking the form. I wasn't feeling them.
Right. Question for you, bro. If they gave you a phone call and offered you a fight at 68, would you do it?
That's what I'm campaigning at. I'm campaigning at 160 and 168.
And it's a lot of action in 168 too. It's a lot of action.
It's sad, you know, my games before, you know, that was an option there, not just yesterday, but that was an option months and years ago, and we didn't capitalize on it. And that is something now that boxers have to be concerned about. Say, listen, why just settle for this division? You can move. You can move. If you can make the weight, make the weight. You know? And so that is something I am now, you know, being introduced to. And I know I can be a phenomenal force at 168.
I think it's a lot of options out there for you, either way, whether it's 160 or 168.
Whilst I praised 90% of what you've done, there was one element of the game which I thought that, and you brought it up yourself, so I'm actually glad you brought it up, was your defensive responsibility. When you said you were walking through the shots or walking into punches because you didn't feel like it was causing you any power. Since that fight, how much of your game has been isolated on focusing on defense and avoiding getting hit?
Hard-head bird don't make good stew. That's a saying that oh my God. This hard-head bird sure didn't make a good stew because I wasn't, you know, listening to my corner. Sometimes you just get into that drive. You just like the feel of the punch at times, and you just get sucked right into it. You know, it taking one to give a few, and that isn't boxing. That's not boxing. You know, the object of the game is to hit and not be hit. And hey, pray for me, man. I'm working on that.
Were you in the zone?
I'm glad you acknowledge that, because a lot of fighters who I speak to, especially in England, they have this mentality where it's just, I don't mind taking shots as long as I get my shots off, and I don't like fighters that don't have a certain level of defense. And I'm glad you acknowledge that. So I tip my hat off to you for that acknowledgement.
Well, and I still got a pretty face. You know, so thank God for that. Thank God for that.
Obviously, you want to keep it. You want to keep your face.
You got to keep. Yeah, you got to. Hey, man, you're gonna be doing some commentating and things like that, man. We got to make sure. You know, you got to protect your one of your many positions after fighting.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, you're
definitely
right.
Definitely got to do that. We say I got 2 more comments in here. BoxingFirst Vlog. He said, "Here's a fight for Tureano to make a splash on the PBC network." He said, "Brandon Lynch." I don't know if that's a big enough name. I think Tureano, he's searching for big fish.
That's not really a splash. That's more like
that's not good. That's a drop in the water. That ain't no splash. And Battle Rifle, he said he got some tips to help you improve your game, Tureano. I don't know who Battle Rifle is, but
I'm all ears, man. I'm all ears. No, really, you know, you're never too big and you're never too smart. You know, learning can come from all angles, even from a defeat. You know,
absolutely. So
I mean,
go ahead.
I was gonna talk about like Rose. I mean, he's one of my favorite trainers in terms of the styles that he does. One of the things that I was gonna say to you is, it's funny how you called out Jacobs, and Jacobs trains with Rose as well. But what I was gonna say to you is, you see Rose train a variety of styles. You saw how he trains Derevianchenko, and you see how he trains Jacobs. Does he have a specific style for your makeup, or does he try to makeshift something? Like, if he's got a style, he wants you to fight a certain way, or does he see your attributes and say, this is the best game plan for Tureano, this is the best game plan for Danny Jacobs, this is the best game plan for Derevianchenko? Because some trainers like to intertwine all of their fights to fight the same way.
I wish I had met Andre years ago into my professional career. I really wish I had. Andre, he does not give the same medicine to everybody. Everybody has a different medicine, you know, a different style. And with me, you know, he's enhancing my style. Man, I want to tell you something that I'm just learning how to do. Like, what the hell are you doing, Tureano? I've seen fighters do that before, but Andre has me doing them now, and it's almost it's so natural, because he's bringing out the best out of you that it was always there. But you know what? You just been going through the ropes and just being focused and being one-dimensional for so long. There was so much to Tureano, and Andre was there. Definitely has brought that out of me. And I honestly can say, wow, why didn't I meet this man sooner?
Wow. We gotta get Andre Rozier on the show too. We gotta get him on the show, man. Talk some good boxing. Hey, Tureano, man, I'm not even gonna hold you anymore. And I tell people this all the time. I'm like, usually when people come on the show and we get to talking, I gotta cut it because we're gonna be on here for hours. And if I was in the Bahamas, I'd be wanting to do something other than interviewing. I'd be wanting to be on the beach somewhere, chilling in the sand, you know.
Hey, I'm used to that over here. So yeah, I'm here all day, every day. I'm good. I'm blessed. This country, I must say, though, it's a blessed country. The waters, you know, the beaches, the air. Oh, definitely not in New York air. Oh, the
Hey, I'm in Philly. We got the same air, man. So I hear you.
I hope Andre Roselle would decide to change places and come down here now for training, man. The training up there in New York. Ooh, I love to spar with everybody, but God, it's polluted, man. It's polluted.
It's one of the most polluted places in the country. Yeah, that air is something different. But Tureano, man, it has been an absolute pleasure talking to you. Give people your social media, man.
Hey, it's easy to reach Tureano. You know, you can hit me up on Instagram and Twitter at all time at Tureano Johnson 1984 or just Tureano Johnson. It's easy to find me. And forgive me, I had a lot of posts up earlier on my Instagram. My account was hacked. So please forgive me. If anybody knows how to retrieve my post, then I really would appreciate it, because I didn't know about the social media stuff like that until just yesterday.
Right.
All my stuff gone, and I didn't even save it or back it up. So please help me out and retrieve my back all of my posts. Please, please.
Right. Right. I thought you just wasn't on social media anymore, like on Instagram. I'm like, where all this posts go?
Yeah, that's what I thought as well.
Yeah, I was like, where all this posts go?
Yeah.
But Tureano, man, like it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you, man. And hopefully you'll jump back on the show soon, man. We appreciate your time, good brother.
Anytime, man. And listen, hats off to both you and Shane. You know, you guys have been real respectful. Hey, continue to be knowledgeable inside the world of boxing, man. Hey, you can play basketball, play volleyball. You can even play football, but you can't play boxing. And you know what?
Absolutely.
This idea is my lifestyle, and that's what I do, and I do this best.
Absolutely, man. It's an absolute pleasure, man. I appreciate you.
God bless you, man. Peace.
All right. All right. Hey, man, that was Tureano Johnson, man, all the way from the Bahamas, man. He probably had his feet in the sand, somewhere on a beach somewhere, man. But it was so good talking to him. Shane, that went pretty well, man. Like, what was your thoughts, man?
Yeah, it was good, man. When I interview anyone, honestly, I have to always talk about the pros and the cons. With Tureano, he was very respectful, so I like that straight off the bat. But most importantly, you know, you can tell he's someone who definitely keeps his eye on his division. There's certain fighters that don't watch anybody else in the division other than themselves. Right. You know, and I feel like it's never good to not watch your opponents, because, you know, how do you, like, me personally, if you watch your opponents when you fight them, you just got that extra additional knowledge. You know, and he seems like he's a massive boxing fan again. So talking to someone who's a massive boxing fan is just, it's like there's an instant rapport, because we can speak for hours.
Yeah, I mean, and he keeps his eye on the competition. And you know, when you in sports, you're supposed to keep your eye on the competition, and that's the most important thing. BoxingFirst Vlog said, good interview. Salute from BoxingFirst Vlog. Salute to you. King Louis said, great interview. King Louis, we appreciate you, good brother. But yeah, this was great, man. Like, it's always good to talk to a guy like that, man. And like, it was funny. He said his social media was hacked and all his posts was going. Like, I was genuinely concerned. I'm like, where the hell is Tureano at, man? I'm like, like, where is he at?
After a loss, they just delete everything off social media.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought. But I knew that wasn't him. I'm like, nah. I'm like, he's not that type of person. So I was genuinely concerned. Like, I remember the exact day too. I hit him up January 27th, January 28th, and I left him like a voice message, just asking if he was okay, man. But that's my bro, like, for real. Like, that is my bro. For real, man. But listen, man, we gonna close it right there, man. Once again, big thank you to Tureano Johnson for stopping through, man. We got a packed house tomorrow. Coach Padman McGriff will be in the building Wednesday. Jason Phillips will be in Thursday, possibly Pacino Hill as well. So we got a packed week, man. Shane, give him your social media, bro.
I_am Shane the #1 as always. You know,
yes, sir.
And yes, sir. Man, keep tuned to the channel. We said, I think it was 2 weeks ago, just watch what we're doing. I'm glad people are finally starting to notice it. Honestly, we're not a channel that's like, we're not one of those interview channels where our content's focused solely on interviews. So it's not one of those things where you're going to get an interview every day. But as you can see, when we talk to people for a good 40 minutes to an hour. You know, and when we talk to people, it's boxing. You know, our unique selling point when it comes to the boxing channel is, because when it comes to YouTube Point Blank Period, is the fact that a lot of people will tell you that when they go on other channels, it's all about getting the headlines and coming off. Trust me, that's how they look at it. Whereas us, we just talk boxing, and you can put a middleweight, super middleweight, a featherweight, a heavyweight. We're still going to talk about boxing. You can put a prospect, journeyman, or champion, still talk about boxing. So we keep it consistent, and it's boxing, and that's all it is, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And great line of questions as well. And it sets a tone because you listen to some people do interviews and you can clearly tell that they're not going to keep it real with them. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to keep it real with them. And Tureano, you know, straight professional. He, you know, he took the good with the, not even the bad, but just the
The
questions. Right.
constructive
Constructive criticism. Yeah. Constructive
yeah.
criticism. Um, and that just comes with the territory. So, you know, big shout out to Tureano Johnson for being receptive of that and also acknowledging that we are, you know, we're one of those channels like we're gonna ask not only the questions that we want to ask, we're gonna ask the questions that the general public is actually asking or to bring up some of the comments that the general public are actually saying because a lot of these fighters don't have their ear to the streets. So
No.
if we don't tell a fighter what's actually being said, and this is beyond whether they care or not. A lot of them don't care, but the fact that they don't know, sometimes you got to bring it to their attention and then let them say whether they care, don't care, if there's a point to that, if there's no point to that, whether they think that's right, wrong, or indifferent. You know, you're bringing it to their attention for them to actually address it directly. Like there's no, you know, talking behind closed doors and things like that. So, Shane, you did a great job in terms of just bringing questions that a lot of people wanted to know, period, you know, and that's
Again,
something that we want to
when I'm
establish.
speaking, what you got to understand is I'm not speaking to like make people feel uncomfortable, but at the same time, I'm not just gonna say things that's gonna make them happy and appease their ego. At the end of the day, if we're talking boxing, everybody has criticism. So when I was speaking today, I just got off my chest straight away that I was a person clearly before the fight. I thought Munguia was gonna win, and I said that.
There,
Go on.
there wasn't many people that thought Tureano was going to win that fight. So you even saying that you wasn't reaching. You understand what I'm saying? Like you was not reaching when you said that. But a lot of people wouldn't have said that. Period. A lot of people wouldn't have said that. And I'm like, whether you felt like Tureano was going to win or lose the fight, the betting odds is a clear indication of how people see it because that's how they set the lines.
Yeah.
And Tureano Johnson was like was he what, a 3-1, 4-1 dog?
Well, I don't even remember.
I think he was like a 4-1 dog in that fight. So, you know, when you have a situation like that, you just ask, does that person have a shot at winning? And I think anybody that knows boxing would tell you, like, okay, Tureano's going to give him some difficulty. So let's see how it plays out. That was one thing that I think we could, you know, all agree on, that he was going to give Jaime some type of difficulty in that fight. But Tureano did a great job. It was unfortunate that he had the injury. And the fact, I don't know if he's done any other interviews, but this might be the first interview he's done since getting injured, as far as I'm concerned. I haven't seen any interview. Have you seen any interviews with
Personally,
Tureano?
no.
Yeah, I haven't
Personally,
seen any interviews with Tureano, but those, like, I was so happy just, you know, getting him on. And he's such a cool guy. Like if you got the vibe that he was cool on the interview, like that's how he is, period. Like he's just an extremely just cool guy. You know what I'm saying? Just down to earth, respectful. Like that's just who he is. And it was an absolute pleasure having him on. But again, you know, the show don't stop. Coach Padman McGriff will be on tomorrow. Big shout out to Coach Padman. That's my guy right there. And we got a couple other surprises. You know, we just trying to lock down dates and times and things like that. But we definitely gonna get everything together. Just a quick roll call, real quick. Big shout out to King Louis. Big shout out to the General, Boxing First Vlog, Battle Rifle. Big shout out to you, Battle Rifle. We seen Battle Rifle before, right?
I personally don't remember seeing him.
Battle Rifle, if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel. Big shout out to L Dub Boxing. Chris G was in the building. DT3 the Boom Man. And for anybody else that plays this back, definitely subscribe to the channel, G5 Jeff TV. Within the next 6 months to a year, like we will be one of the premier boxing channels on the planet. Like you can take that to the bank and cash it. Take it to the bank and cash it for sure. So on behalf of the VP, Shane, and your boy G5 Jeff TV, we are out.